Thanks for choosing this free Anfield Index podcast. If you'd prefer to listen to this or any of our other shows without adverts, then now's the time to check out Anfield Index Pro. With AI Pro, you can supercharge your entire listening experience. You'll not only get all of our podcasts without the ads, but you'll have them far faster with our Quick Publish feature available exclusively for subscribers. AI Pro also puts you in the heart of our sound studio, with an option to listen to many of our shows live and interact with the podcasters in real time as the shows are recording. Upgrading couldn't be easier. AI Pro is available on all popular podcast platforms, and we have our own apps for Apple and Android. Just head on over to AnfieldIndexPro.com and get started today.
Hello and welcome to the Daily Red, your lunchtime catch-up on all things Liverpool FC on a Wednesday on which, despite the rain, the world looks a bit better as a Liverpool fan after Liverpool 2, Napoli 0 in the Champions League at Anfield. The Reds winning the game via late goals by Mo Salah and Darwin Núñez, both of them coming after headers saved and tap-ins. Beautiful, absolutely beautiful. Liverpool lined up with Ali in goal, Trent, Ibu, Virgil, Costas, Jimmy Milner, Fab, Thiago, Salah, Bobby, Curtis Jones. Milner had to go off just after half-time. An injury that appeared to be from a tackle, but he'd obviously had a head injury in the first half that may have been the actual cause. And Harvey Elliott came on, and to be fair, Liverpool got better from there. All in all, a pretty decent performance. Not brilliant by any stretch, but in comparison to what we saw against Leeds, certainly an enormous improvement. The Reds were aggressive defensively. I thought Ibu made a massive difference. His pace, his power, the physicality he brings, the aerial dominance, how dogged he is in his defensive work. I thought he did a brilliant job with Simeon. I thought Trent did quite well against Kavicha. Got burnt a couple of times, 1v1, but Kavicha does that to everybody. All things considered, I thought we kept them fairly quiet. They weren't at full strength, but then neither were we. The game itself was a little bit meaningless. It was a dead rubber. Liverpool needed to win by 4 clear goals to top the group, and that wasn't going to happen. Napoli seemed quite happy just to try and manage their way through the game. It felt like they had a couple of gears to go up through. But likewise, you felt like we could have played better. It just seemed like we weren't really sure of how to get to being better. It was a 4-3-3 as opposed to the diamond or the 4-4-2 we've been playing. But even in that 4-3-3, we saw Bobby dropping deep quite often into the midfield areas. Milner was pushing on quite a bit. And at times it was a diamond, at times it was a box. Curtis dropped to the left wing a couple of times in the second half and it became a 4. It was quite fluid. It was flexible. And it worked for that game. Darwin Núñez was the real difference maker when he came on. His header was saved by Mere, who spilled it because he would have carried it over the line otherwise. And Salah was just Johnny on the spot, tapping home, turning, raising his arm and letting the official know, I've scored there. It was Virgil's header that was saved, was dribbling across the line, may have found its way in anyway, but Darwin taps it home. And after a VAR review, after an initial offside flag, the goal is given and we win the game. We had the game won, to be fair, let's be honest. Should point out, Darwin almost had a really good assist for Mo, skinned Kim, who'd been very, very impressive, and played it low and hard across the 6-yard box. Mo was about to tap home. Ostergaard managed to get a half a foot on it and just sort of lifted past Mo. More luck than design, I think. They had a goal disallowed, but it was very clearly offside. A set piece, foolishly given away by Fab, though soft at the same time. Ostergaard got on the end of the set piece, but our offside line had once again worked. We got to see something of the automated system It just seemed like it took them a little bit of time to figure out how to turn the machine on and actually make it happen. But it was the correct decision. And apparently, if Ostergaard hadn't been offside, they would have reviewed Osimhen's role because he interfered with play and he was clearly offside. I don't know why they didn't just base it off where Osimhen was, but, you have these things. It's the same nonsense we saw with these VAR reviews in the Arsenal game. No, sorry, the City game, where they review the foul by Haaland on Fabinho and then say, well, if that one hadn't been a foul, we would have disallowed it based on Haaland's foul on Alisson. Just disallow it on Haaland's foul on Alisson then and stop all the time wasting. Get the game going again. Big positive in this game for Liverpool was the improved performance of the likes of Trent, of the likes of Fabinho, of the likes of Virgil. Still not at their best, but a far greater effort and a far greater determination to impact the game. Other positives include the late substitution, which saw Fabio Carvalho come on for Bobby. We're 1-up at this point. Carvalho comes on, he looks lively, has a really good chance and probably should do better. Basetic comes on for Thiago and looked fine. I mean, he didn't do much of anything. Got stuck in, though, and looked like he belonged. And then Calvin Ramsey finally getting his debut, coming on for Trent, and looking pretty decent. Good on the ball, confident with his passing, little bit inventive, and didn't have a whole lot to do defensively, but there was one dangerous cross slung in from our left, their right. He's the back post defender on it, and he deals with it really well. With a man on his shoulder, he deals with it really well. And I think we'll probably see him play, not the full 90 maybe, but most of the 90 against Derby next week, which I think everybody should be looking forward to, because we're in November now. We bought the lad in the summer, and this is the first chance we've had to see him. All things considered, a good evening's work. Thought Curtis Jones played pretty well. Harvey played pretty well when he came on. Fab Thiago did well. Milner put in a shift. You couldn't really point at anyone and say they didn't play well. Bobby looked a little bit tired. That's the one concern I'd have, and I would suggest that maybe he shouldn't start against Spurs. Have him as an option off the bench. Play Darwin and Mo as your two. Curtis can play left of the three and drop into form a 4 with Harvey right of the three in midfield, and shifting a bit wider to form a 4 out of possession. That's probably the way to go. The main Liverpool websites today, Canate, Anfield, and a look ahead to Tottenham. The last word on Liverpool 2, Napoli 0. Moment of appreciation for the crowd last night. Much improved from the atmosphere we saw against Leeds, which was fairly bad. Fairly bad. And I've seen a few regular matchgoers say that it was one of the worst atmospheres they've ever experienced at Anfield for a late game. Normally, once the floodlights come on, Anfield is very, very impressive. It was not against Leeds. Thiago's gesture and Nunes laps it up. 4 things fans are talking about after Liverpool versus Napoli. Jurgen Klopp gets his team back as media-laud, morale-lifting Liverpool win. I wouldn't get too carried away, considering we beat City a few weeks ago and then managed to lose to Nottingham Forest. So, I wouldn't necessarily say Jurgen has his team back or that morale will be lifted, but certainly a step in the right direction.
Are you that person who has everything? The coolest merch and those must-have fan threads? Well, over at our Anfield Index shop, we've gone that extra mile when it comes to pimping up your Liverpool collection. From our popular range of bespoke design t-shirts, sweaters, hoodies and hats, to our signature edition mugs, prints and coasters, all provided with fast worldwide shipping. We have something for every red. We also stock official LFC merchandise and are licensed with the Premier League and UEFA to sell official iron-on shirt badges and sleeve patches. As a listener to this podcast, you can get 10% off everything with coupon code AIPRO10. Just head over to AnfieldIndex.shop or find us on Etsy by searching for Anfield Index.
Liverpool to attack Jude Bellingham, but 43 million short of price tag. So Sport Build, which isn't always reliable, and Jan Age Fjortoft, the boffin that he is, are saying that Klopp and the owners have an agreement to go all in on Jude Bellingham. And that would be a bad decision, because Jude Bellingham will cost over 100 million. And for that money, you could buy two really good midfielders. You could buy a Manu Kone and a Moises Caicedo for that kind of money. And we need three midfielders. So, you know, you might be able to get Jude and perhaps Kone, or Jude and Caicedo if the money was there. But the other way to go about it would be to get Jude, Kone, and someone like Enzo Fernandez and completely box off the midfield and have it sorted for the long haul. Jurgen, given the reaction I wanted to see from determined Liverpool, so the manager seems fairly happy. Mo Salah has now tied Steven Gerrard for the most goals in European competition for Liverpool. Obviously, he had already broken the Champions League record, but now he has 41 European goals. Gerrard had 30 in the Champions League and 11 in the Europa League / UEFA Cup. Mo has equaled that with all of his goals coming in the Champions League. 40 of them group stage or later, one in a qualifier. He is obviously going to go well clear of Gerrard as we move forward. And Salah, despite having been used quite poorly for, I would say, a large portion of this season, where somebody decided he should be the world's most highly paid linesman, Salah now has 12 goals this season. He has 7 in the Champions League, 1 in the Community Shield, and 4 in the league. Now, the 4 in the league is low, and that's where we'd like to see more from Mo. We'd like to see those numbers start to tick up. But is anyone doubting that he's going to get 20 league goals this season? Because I'm certainly not. I'm certainly not doubting that Mo is going to end this campaign on around the 30 goal mark, because that's what Mo does. And he's up to 168 goals in 273 games for the club, with years and years left on the contract he signed in the summer. Mo's contract, if I'm not mistaken, runs till 2025. So he's 2 years after this year. At that point, he'll be 33. There's no reason to think he won't stick around beyond that. And as I've said, if he matches what he did in his first 5 seasons at the club, if you can hear weird breathing, Molly's sitting right next to me. That's what that is. If Mo matches what he did in his first 5 seasons at the club across the next 5 seasons, he will be right in the mix to be our all-time leading scorer. Obviously, Ian Rush's record is quite imposing. 346 goals. But Mo, going into this season, had 156. If he did that again across 5 seasons, that's 312, which would put him 34 goals behind Rush. At 35 years of age, it's possible. 2 years, a reduced role, it's absolutely possible. If not, he ends up second. But we know how Salah is. We know how his mind works. He wants records. He wants greatness. And not only can he break Rush's record, if given the time, he'll do it in less games. And I will die on this hill that Mo can beat Ian Rush's record. Liverpool.com. Liverpool just got 25-minute glimpse of 38-goal reality as bold Luis Suarez comparison made. This is a piece about Darwin and the chaos that he brings. Like, he was just, last night he came on and Napoli just did not know what to do with him. It was just chaos from the minute he came onto the pitch replacing Curtis until the last kick of the ball, which was him putting the ball into the back of the net. I think there's real possibility and potential in that front two of Salah and Darwin. Real possibility, real potential that they can do very special things in time. Darwin Núñez justifies Liverpool's chant as Kvaratskhelia Kvaratskhelia emulates Erling Haaland. Kvaratskhelia just proved Liverpool boost as difficult 86 million Napoli test is passed. I tell you, I'd pay anything to have that fella at the club. Liverpool have found perfect 111 million duo to transform their season as Anfield chant speaks volumes. This is Ibu and Virgil. I don't think they've just found them. They found them last season. And we saw how incredibly good they were together last season. Liverpool make 86 million Jude Bellingham transfer decision as FSG make 86 million Jude Bellingham transfer decision as Liverpool spot cut price January signing. Let's see. This is the Media Digest piece. So the cut price January deal, I would imagine, is Konrad Laimer of RB Leipzig. I will be shocked if he doesn't end up at Bayern Munich. Genuinely. I will be stunned if he doesn't end up at Bayern. The Bellingham decision is that they've set aside 86 million. 86 million is not getting you Jude Bellingham this summer. It's just not. And I do think that while it's good to keep up appearances and act like you're interested and try and drive that price up so that whoever does pay whatever it costs to get him isn't getting any kind of discount. But that money could get us two players. That could get us Kone and Caicedo, and we'd be better off with those two than we would with just Jude. And I know there'll be people out there that will use it as a stick to beat FSG with, but you're looking the wrong way at this. You can't blow your whole budget on one player when you need three in that one position, not to mention the other things the squad will need in the summer. As good as Bellingham is and as great as he might be, and as delighted as I'm sure we'd all be if we signed him, it's just not a sensible move. Not when we have so many other needs. Jude Bellingham on his own does not fix Liverpool's midfield because he's not going to make Thiago less injury prone. He's not going to get the clock wound back on Fab. Yes, he's an enormous upgrade on the likes of Henderson and whoever else, but he doesn't fix the other issues. You'd be better off using that money to go and get Kone and Caicedo, replace Henderson and Fabinho, or get cover for Fabinho that way, and then take whatever money is left and go and try and get Enzo Fernandez. And then you've ticked all the boxes. AnfieldIndex.com. Couple of new pieces up. Who could be a right-wing target for 4-4-2? Written by Stephen Smith. Is it time for Trent Alexander-Arnold to play in midfield for Liverpool? Written by Henry Jackson. Do check that one out there. Player ratings from last night up as well. These were put together by Stephen Smith. We have Alisson 7, Trent 7, Costa 7, Virgil 8, Ibu 9, Thiago 9, Fab 7, Milner 7, Salah 7, Bobby 7, Curtis 7, Harvey 6. I think that's harsh. I think he was better than Milner, frankly. Darwin 7. I mean, he scored and assisted and almost assisted another one. So for me, 10. Bastic, Ramsey, and Carvalho were only on for 10 minutes, 5 each. And Jurgen gets an 8. Podcast-wise, there is post-match Raw from last night, if you haven't listened to that one. There is the new Under Pressure, the two Dans and Simon Brundish. There is a Scouser Tommies with Jim Boardman and Tony Evans. There is a new Scouted recorded today for Spurs, which will probably be out today or tomorrow. There'll be a rival. It's already out. There we go. Look at that for service. Look at that for service. There'll be a rival recon ahead of Spurs as well with Young Seti, the Anfield Index podcast, the old school one, not old school, the old school AIP. It'll be out this week as well. I'm hoping there'll be an old school sometime soon, but, you know, Gags is off jet setting around the world, not caring about you, the listener. I'm here every day. He just doesn't care, except bank holidays. I don't do bank holidays anymore. And that's it from me. I will see you all tomorrow. Have yourselves a pleasant, pleasant day. I hope it's not raining too much wherever you are. It's raining very heavily here. But at least the farmers are happy. And sure, isn't that what it's all about? Bye-bye.
We hope you enjoyed listening to this Anfield Index show. Please be sure to subscribe to our channel so future podcasts find their way to your device automatically. There's nothing quite like fan engagement, and we'd love to know what you think of anything discussed on this show. The best way to get in touch is over on our free Discord community, where both podcasters and listeners debate the hottest LFC topics 24/7. Sign up free now at AnfieldIndex.com/Discord. You won't regret it. You can also follow us on Twitter at Anfield Index and find us on Facebook by searching for Anfield Index. Oh, and before you go, we'd love it if you could leave us a 5-star review on your favourite podcast app. It only takes a couple of seconds, and it means the world to the people who create these free shows.